Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. And in this week's local news, what's in store for Addison Township voters now that the NOTA proposal was turned down? And Lakeville Lake has unwelcome guests. How do the residents plan to deal with that?
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A Thornhill Trail woman had a false alarm last week when she thought her truck had been stolen from the front of her home. After calling the police, the woman discovered her husband parked the truck in the neighbor's drive.
An Oxford Village resident is proof that the highly advertised credit card theft prevention programs really do work. Last week, the woman was alerted by Credit Shield that someone was trying to access her credit card. As a result, her dollars remain safe and sound in her own account.
Alcohol may have been a factor in a 38-year-old Clarkston man when he hit a tree on Baldwin Road last week. Officers believe that alcohol may have been a factor in the accident. The driver was taken to the hospital and he was listed in serious condition. There were no other injuries.
If you're going on vacation, be sure you have someone watch your home. Recently, an Oxford woman returned home from a weekend trip and she discovered that items were missing from her Oxford apartment. If you're unable to have somebody watch your home, at least call the village police and let them know you're going to be gone and maybe they can keep an eye out for your home.
Apparently, it's not over yet. A month ago, E.T. Rover Pipeline, LLC, told property owner Bruce Downey that they were no longer interested in dragging their pipeline across his 10-acre property in Addison Township. However, Downey recently received a letter from the company that they want permission to survey his land. Because Downey has two other pipeline easements crossing his property, he says he will never give permission for the survey. But he feels the company has not finished harassing him either. We will keep you posted on this item in the future.
A special Addison Township Library Board meeting last week resulted in resubmitting a 10-year millage request to the November 4th ballot. The August primary ballot included the same request, however, Addison voters turned it down. The board contends the issue was turned down by a very small margin, and they would like to further inform the residents that the library really does need the money in order to offset the loss of property revenue and the Headley rollback. Trustees say the funds are needed for both library operational maintenance needs and to keep the library going.
At a special Addison Township meeting, the board voted to place a previously failed NOTA 5-year 0.25 property tax mill proposal on the November 4th election ballot. The money is needed to replace over $450,000 in discontinued state and federal grant dollars. In August, the proposal lost by only 27 votes in Addison Township, but was approved in Oxford and Orion Townships. In a NOTA meeting last week, it was decided that if Addison residents turn down proposal on the November election, residents will lose all NOTA services. We talked with an Addison writer, and here's what she had to say about NOTA.
I am with Eleanor, and she is a Leonard resident, and from what I understand, she uses NOTA every single day to come down here to the senior center. What will happen to you, Eleanor, if you aren't able to ride on the NOTA buses anymore?
I would just be locked into my home. I wouldn't get to go anywhere because I can't. I don't drive. I sold my car so I wouldn't drive anymore. I don't believe people in their 90s belong on the road. So I feel like I saved your life and mine too by selling my car and taking the bus.
And they pick me up so I can babysit. It's my form of transportation. That's all I have.
Otherwise, you'd be stuck at home.
I'd be lost without NOTA. And they're my friends, too.
Last year, NODA gave over 2,000 rides to Addison residents.
Lakeville Lake property owners are teaming up with Michigan State University and federal agencies to stop any more invasive species from entering their lake. Zebra mussels and some other unwanted species have already been found in Lakeville Lake. However, residents don't want to allow any more unwanted critters to find their way into their waters. Now, prior to entering the lake, watercraft owners are encouraged to have their boats washed free of charge. A portable high-pressure and high-temperature spray machine is available to cleanse invasive species. Watch OCTV for footage of this new program.
You know, Terry, the invasive species in these lakes is pretty dominant now. I mean, it's all over, it seems like, in Michigan.
It's really a sad thing. I mean, it's hard to keep things like zebra mussels out. And I will say, we were up in the UP a couple weekends ago, and that water is cleaner than it's ever been. And I know that's because of the zebra mussels, and it is nice to have the clean waters, but I'm telling you, it's hard to keep a balance in these lakes when so many boats are going in and out of other lakes. I wish them luck, and I really encourage people to use that washing high-pressure system.
Now, you live on a lake. Are there any precautions being taken on the lake that you live on?
Well, it's a private lake, so that helps. We have them in our lake, too.
Okay. They don't dump anything else in there, other than beavers.
Yeah, well, yeah. Beavers. But I'm encouraged for, let's go back to some of the news that we've done. I'm encouraged for Addison NODA riders that is not a dead issue, that it's going to be back on the ballot in November. And I think residents might have been a little confused. There were a lot of money issues on the ballot in August, so hopefully they understand the ramifications of not having NODA in their community. Each community needs to take care of their own, and I understand the decision that Orion and Oxford made as well, not wanting to supplement Addison's funding. So
And
it's a tough one.
Yeah, and you know, actually the Addison boat was very, very small. You know, they lost by a very small margin. So you can see why they would want to put it back on the ballot. Others that are going on the ballot in November will be the Oxford Public Library is going back on as well. NODA and the Addison Public Library, which also lost by just a few votes. So.
And then a new one for the fire department. I think the chief chose to wait till November to put it on so it wouldn't be so crowded.
Right.
So we'll see. That's going to be an interesting election. At any rate, this is Oxford News This Week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, number one, keep an eye on OCTV and also pick up a copy of The Leader at any of our local stores.
Coming up on OCTV, Oxford Local Sports with Andy Curtis and Oxford School News with John Oetjens. And join Dave Kenny with his Auto Talk and Science in the News.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where your news is closer to home.
I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Take off your hat, throw it in the corner. Take off your hat, throw it in the corner. Take off your hat, throw it in the corner. I don't see why. Stay a little longer. I'm talking about Boozy. Ooh, Boozy, that's who. Hey, oh, yeah. Come on down. Stay a little longer.
I'm Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard and former Red Wing great Joey Koser reminding you to follow the rules regarding boater safety. Always operate at safe speeds, avoid alcohol, and wear a life jacket. Don't let a great day on the water be ruined by bad decisions.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life to somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Chrysler Group unveiled its second car that will be powered by a 707 horsepower supercharged 6.2-liter Hellcat engine, a 2015 Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat. The four-door performance sedan made its public debut at the Woodward Dream Cruise. Chrysler refreshed the exterior and interior styling for the 2015 Charger and showed the vehicle earlier this year at the New York Auto Show. That updated styling holds over to the Hellcat-powered version, albeit slightly modified to accommodate the needs of the supercharged V8. Just as they did with the Hellcat-powered Challenger, Dodge engineers modified the hood and front fascia of the Charger to provide maximum airflow for cooling and room for the engine's massive top-mounted supercharger. The Hellcat-powered Charger will reach 204 miles an hour, 5 miles more than the Challenger version should you ever get that high. It also will share some of the additional high-performance features with the Challenger, including larger, more powerful brakes, wheels, and tires, and a second key fob that electronically limits the engine's performance for more on-road manners. It will also have the special SRT performance pages, allowing drivers to keep track of their performance times, for example, on its 8.4-inch infotainment screen. Pricing for the Hellcat-powered Charger, which is expected in dealerships in the first quarter of 2015, was not announced, but you can expect it'll be a couple of extra bucks. In our next story, on the GVW front, in the flap over how General Motors and Ford Motor Company calculate the maximum payload ratings on their pickups, GM blinked. GM said on August 9th that it will no longer omit the weight of some parts to boost the maximum payload ratings of their pickups. Ford said it excluded items to calculate payloads on just its Super Duty pickups, the F250, F350, and F450. GM excluded items on its light-duty pickups in the 2014 model year. It excluded items in heavy-duty lines starting in the 2015 model year. For its 2015 Chevrolet Colorado and Silverado 1500 and the GMC Canyon and Sierra 1500, which go into production in the fourth quarter, GM will use maximum payloads based on base curb weights in its advertising, catalogs, and media materials. GM will update already published specifications for its 2015 heavy-duty pickups to show payload ratings based on their curb weight. The trucks were launched in January. Ford said that it deletes the weight of items such as the spare tire, jack, radio, and center console to set the payloads for its Super Duty pickups. After GM's reversal, Ford said on August 9th that it will retain the subtraction method to calculate payloads. Maximum payload is the weight of all that a pickup carries, including passengers and cargo. When automakers subtract from a vehicle's curb weight, that allows them to state a higher maximum payload. Yikes. And still at Ford, Ford Motor Company has demonstrated its seamless sliding rear window feature developed by Canadian supplier Magna International Incorporated for the new 2015 Ford F-150 pickup. The current sliding glass rear window is optional, and many pickups require 3 panes of glass and an elaborate support structure of plastic frames and sealing material that's complex to assemble and vulnerable to quality glitches and leakage. When Ford started designing its next generation F-150 back in 2010, the company staged a design contest to come up with a better solution, and one supplier emerged the clear winner, Magna. Magna, based near Toronto, came up with a technology it refers to as hole in the glass that resulted in the 2015 F-150's seamless sliding rear window. The new rear window has several advantages. It's about 4 pounds lighter, can be installed in one assembly line operation instead of several, gives the rear a streamlined look, and provides continuous defrosting whether the window is open or not. Ford will offer the seamless sliding rear window on XL and XLT versions of the F-150 as a $300 option for its Super Cab and Crew Cab models, and it will be standard on the Lariat, King Ranch, and Platinum models. About 25% of customers opt for the sliding glass panel on the current F-150, and the company expects the new seamless window will increase that number to 40% on the new truck due in dealerships near the end of this year. Ford is also using the technology for pop-out windows on the new Ford Transit commercial van. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
You are watching the Michigan American Legion's Station of the Year for the 5th year in a row, Oxford Community Television.
On out for Friday night fish at the Oxford American Legion Hall. It's delicious.
We love the Legion. They have great fish and good family fun.
American Legion fish fry. It's awesome. And the drinks are good, the food is good, the service is awesome.
Quiet, please. Wait a sec. I'll take one. Oh yeah. All right. All good. Take care. Way to go. Nice. Bring it on. Gotcha. I'm here for you. Oh no. Please, please, please. I'm waiting. Interesting. Not buying it. Not fair. That's it. This conversation is over. Oh, brother.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things.
I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke.
Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F. Face drooping. A. Arm weakness. S. Speech difficulty. T. Time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
I'm John Oetjens, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcat School Update. The Oxford School Board met last night. Several things were discussed. Crossroads High School seems to be coming along well. Grants are being obtained, equipment purchased. The goal is to give these kids a place they want to come to school at. Teachers are being hired as well, 16 in our district overall. Dr. William Skilling, our superintendent, spoke with a bit of pride about our situation compared with some of the others.
And so I can't tell you how often I hear as an administrator when our staff goes out and they go to meetings or they go to workshops and they hear you're from Oxford. Oh, you're from Oxford. Don't you have this, this, and this? Yes, right. And how proud they are to go out into the community and into the educational community I'm talking about and hear about Oxford. To me, that's Oxford being Oxford. That's where we want to be. We want to be a leader. And I think we've done well with that, and we've done well by our students. As I've said many times, our students would never have known there was a recession had it not been for what happened at home, possibly with parents losing their jobs or hours being cut, or having the media. If all they knew was what was happening at school, they were thinking we'd be in an economic boom time. Because every year we have provided more opportunity for our kids. Every year they had something exciting to look forward to, new. And the problem was they had to selectively abandon because there's too much to choose from.
The Oxford Wildcat Marching Band began gearing up for football season at band camp this week. Our Rod Wright paid them a visit at the Covenant Hills Camp in northern Genesee County. Band booster Leanne Teri tells us more.
We do band camp to get the kids away from Oxford. It's a big bonding moment for the band. These kids work 9-hour days. They have 9 hours worth of rehearsals, and we get so much done here. But it's a bonding thing for the kids. The kids get to know each other. They get to know the directors. They get to know the support staff, and the parents that come up and chaperone, and the parents that stay and help also.
You can see more of the camp in a special program to be shown here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Teachers and kids at Leonard Elementary had a special event this week. We visited with teacher Jessica Pyrick and the Story Lady. This must be the Story Lady.
Oh yes, hello.
Oh, and we're out here at Leonard Elementary. Tell me, what is going on here today?
Well, this is our annual Beach Ball Book Bash, and we are inviting students from Leonard Elementary into the school this summer, and we're doing some activities with them all based on reading. They've been reading all summer, so they will go and they will exchange their books for new books. They will listen to Story Lady read.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I just come and read to the boys and girls and have fun.
Oh, can I listen too?
Absolutely.
All right. You keep talking. I'm going to swing around here and get a view of everybody else.
Hey. I have my bag of books and we're going to read.
Okay, so what else is happening today then?
And they will have an opportunity to eat a yummy popsicle and read some magazines, and we just get really excited about books here at Leonard Elementary. They take new books home, and we really want to encourage them to read all summer long.
Principal Paul McDevitt gives us some background.
One of our first grade teachers, well, both of our first grade teachers and our reading specialist got together and wanted to plan some type of summer reading program for kids in kindergarten, first and second grade that would try to help them prevent the summer slide, so to speak. And so they came up with this idea, and we had some grant money, and they wrote a grant to purchase books to get the kids reading materials. And they have this a couple times during the summer. The kids come in, they are like in a competition with themselves and with the other kids to see how many books or chapters they can read, and they chart their progress throughout the summer. And then they exchange the books, and they come in here and they have fun.
So did they have another one of these back in June or?
July.
Oh, in July.
The kids, we kicked it off at the end of the year in June. So there's the first initial meeting when the kids got their books. We're told about the program, and then they came back in July, and they celebrated the number of books they've read. They exchanged their books and got some new ones, and then they came back now in August and are doing the same thing again.
And before we leave, let's do the cheer.
Summer reading, summer reading, summer reading. And now I'm going to do my cartwheel. Oh! Everybody say summer reading. Yeah!
That's the Oxford School News for this week. Stay tuned for Dave Kenny with Science in the News and Andy Curtis with Wildcat Sports. 2 special editions of My Life coming up soon with publisher Jim Sherman Sr. Catch that Mondays through Fridays at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 a.m. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
You are watching the Michigan American Legion's Station of the Year for the 5th year in a row, Oxford Community Television.
Hello, I'm Andy Curtis, and this is your Oxford Sports Update. So, as of right now, this moment in time, we are 11 days away from the first home game of the 2014 Oxford Wildcat varsity football season, and I am so excited I could squeal! Ooh, fresh off their 5-5 season last year and 3rd straight playoff appearance, the Wildcats, behind the coaching of local institution Bud Rowley, look to make it 4 in a row as they start their 2nd week of practice this week and open play against Romeo August 29th at Oxford High School. Now stay tuned right here to OCTV for your broadcast and in-depth coverage of Wildcat varsity home games. Staying with football, your Detroit Lions lost Friday night in Oakland to the Raiders in the 2nd game of the NFL preseason. But before we declare them the same old Lions just yet, it's not all bad, with the starters on both offense and defense actually looking pretty good. Stafford played 3 series in the game and threw for 2 touchdowns, 1 to Golden Tate right out the gates, and 1 to Chris Durham later on in the first, ending the night going 9 for 10 with 88 passing yards. And first-round pick tight end Eric Ebron had 2 catches for 37 yards, 1 being a 23-yard pass, and almost dropped from Matt Stafford during first-team reps. Now, on the defensive side, starting safety and new line Jamie Hedibo made an interception off the Raiders' opening drive off a Rashid Mathis tip, and the starting defensive 7 got a lot of good pressure on Oakland starting QB Matt Schwab. Now, of course, it wasn't all great, though, with the Lions having 11 penalties for 74 yards. They never really established the running game and gave up a 50-yard punt return after second-pick linebacker Kyle Van Noy missed a tackling opportunity along the sidelines. But again, this is preseason, so we have a lot more time before we can start complaining about millionaires not doing their jobs, at least on the football field. Millionaires we can complain about not doing their jobs are the Tigers, who lost another home series this weekend to the visiting Seattle Mariners, losing Friday and Sunday. They are now officially 1.5 games out of first place in the AL Central behind the Kansas City Royals. And in addition to that, they're also a half game out of a wild card spot, meaning if the regular season ended today, the toothless Tigers would be on the outside looking in. Now on Sunday, behind the starting pitching of Robbie Ray, the Tigers lost 8-1 as he gave up 4 runs and 7 hits in only 5 innings. This, combined with 0 offense and awful defense, is just a continuation of what we fans have been seeing this team do as of late. Errors by Victor Martinez at first and a hilarious juggling act by Rajai Davis on a dropped fly ball hit off new Tiger reliever Jim Johnson in the 6th, made it very, very easy to turn off the game. Now, all in all, the team has won 13 games since the All-Star break, and they better fix their numerous problems because there's only 6 weeks left in the regular season. So to help you educate you even further on how far the Tigers have fallen, brings me to today's sports vocabulary word of the day. Major League Baseball wildcard teams. Now in baseball, 2 teams in both the American and National Leagues that have the best winning percentage without winning their division still have an opportunity to reach the postseason as a wildcard team. Now these 2 teams then play each other, and the winner advances to meet the top-seeded team in the divisional series. So, for example, if, like I mentioned earlier, the regular season ended right now, the 2 wildcard teams in the American League would be the Oakland A's and the Seattle Mariners, who would play each other in a 1-game playoff. The winner would then go on to play the team with the best winning percentage in the AL, which is currently Los Angeles. So again, I am Andy Curtis, and remember you can catch all of our broadcasts of your favorite Oxford High School and Park and Rec League games between 1 and 6 right here at OCTV, or check us out online under the programs section of OCCTV.org. And as always, this is your community station, so if you have a sports idea, shoot us an email at andrewcurtis23@gmail.com and put OCTV Sports in the subject line. Well, that was all the sports news you need to know. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, a lack of vitamin D may put elderly people at increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease, a study of 658 U.S. adults concludes. The finding adds to a growing body of evidence for multiple benefits of vitamin D, including lowering the risks of developing autoimmune diseases and cancer. And on the technology front, Google is funding the construction of a new underwater internet cable across the Pacific Ocean. The search giant, along with 5 Asian telecom firms, will invest $300 million in the cable, which will be a major link in the physical backbone of the net. Able to carry 60 terabits per second, it will begin piping data between the U.S. and Japan in 2016. Right. A new drug treats blood clots without boosting bleeding risk. Clots form when blood platelets clump together. They are treated with blood-thinning drugs, but these must be given orally as they need to be metabolized by the liver to work. This means they disperse throughout the body, which risks triggering bleeding elsewhere. Douglas Merkel at the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis has now developed a more targeted drug using an enzyme that regulates platelet aggregation. He altered the structure to make it more potent. Enzymes work immediately, so the drug can be injected near a blood clot for a localized effect. When tested on dogs with clots in their hearts, the altered enzyme reduced the clot size by 81% without increasing the time it took for a wound on their lips to stop bleeding. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
wonderful surprises of local shopping. Watch Let's Take a Walk with Susan Bork or Andy Curtis, weekdays at 10:30 and 6:30, keeping it local.